This is Queen T.
And Miss K.
We are the Chapter 30 podcast.
Welcome back, Streets.
Welcome back.
It's 2023.
Oh my gosh. You know what's so crazy? I was listening to one of our older episodes.
I feel like
That
that's all we do sometimes. Reminisce.
It's definitely part of our research. But I was listening to an older episode and we were talking about, it was January. And we were talking about how January was going by so slow.
Oh, gosh.
And I know it's February because we said January went by slow, but February was going by quick. This January, I'm like, this thing is already, I feel like it was New Year's yesterday.
I know.
But it might have something to do with just all that we have going on because our January is booked and busy, honey.
Booked and busy and blessed.
Absolutely. So I know we just started, back on in our bag.
Yes.
Not too long ago, but I feel like, the streets deserve a little recap of, the past year, 2022, and, what it's done for us personally and the podcast.
Definitely.
So just like overall, how was 2022 for you? Were there things that you learned, things that you've grown from? Like, how was it? How was the year for you?
There were some challenging parts, but I feel like I did a lot of growth, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of like professional growth, and then we ended the year with a bang with the podcast and a lot of things that we've been doing just like behind the scenes. So a lot of growth within our business. So it was a pretty good year. A lot going on. I feel like the years when you take a second to look back, it's just like, wow. Like, even when you just asked me this, like, I been looking ahead to 2023 and just super excited about what's to come. But I didn't really take a chance to really look back at 2022 and just like process that. But it was definitely a year of growth. Challenging where it was, but also a lot of progress, a lot of blessings. How about you?
I definitely agree with that. I definitely think that some years just have their own themes, I guess you would say. And the word that you use, self-reflection, like I definitely agree that 2022 was the year of self-reflection. This year, all the streets may not know this, but I had knee surgery. And I was out of work for a good month, just in recovery. And even with that, even just like where I live right now, and I'm kind of away from people. So this year for me was that exactly, self-reflection. Like I had a lot of time to myself. And so there were times where it wasn't the best. Like I didn't see it in the time that it was a learning lesson. Like it just seemed like sadness, I guess you would say. But then after like just digging deeper, there's seasons, right? So there's seasons for growth, there's seasons for self-reflection, there's different seasons. And so I saw it as a season, and I saw it as an opportunity to like really just dig deep and take this time and the time alone to figure things out, figure myself out, learn things about myself. And then out of that, chapter 30 came back to life. So definitely was beneficial. It wasn't for no reason. It wasn't in vain. And like you said, closing out 22 was just really crazy because out of nowhere things just started, budding. Things started happening. I'm definitely in a better place now with my knee.
Good.
better place with chapter 30.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely agree with 2022. It was a different year, like a lot was
Mm-hmm.
going on, but not,
Right.
it seemed like a lot, but nothing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely grateful for it. Definitely grateful for every year that I get to walk along this earth. So
Definitely.
absolutely. So what can the streets can look forward to in 23 with chapter 30?
Everything like this rebirth, like
Mm.
is it means so much on so many different levels. Like I can't really stress that enough. But we're grinding like on every level. Like, um, and we appreciate you streets. But
Yes.
um, they can look forward to just more guests.
Yes.
More authentic and rawness from us. Like, I mean, just more of us. Um, just a lot of goals. I mean, what do you want to share? What are we sharing? Are we sharing a lot of
How far we
tea
want to take
or
this?
yeah? Because we
Well,
got a lot of
I
goals.
first of all, I do agree with this, like the more of us part. I know I told the
Mm-hmm.
streets this in one of the other episodes, but I definitely want to just give you guys as much of me as I can
Mm-hmm.
and be just the most authentic version of myself that I can be. The guests are just piling up, so I'm super excited for
Yes.
that. The different topics that we're talking about, the different elements that they're bringing to chapter 30 is crazy.
Right.
We are going to have another male guest.
Mm-hmm.
Super excited about that. And just the different platforms that
Definitely.
we are introducing ourselves on and bringing to the light for you guys, just to make it more accessible and fun, and just so that you guys are in contact with. There's no reason why you guys won't be able to see us because we're
Seriously, we
literally
everywhere.
everywhere, and we're trying new things out to see what works for us.
Yep. And what works for you guys and what you guys like. But you guys are loving Patreon. Shout out to Patreon.
Shout out to the elite street members on
It's
Patreon.
wild.
If you are not,
It's too much.
it's definitely wild, which is I think we were expecting,
Mm-hmm.
if not more.
Mm.
So if you are not subscribed to Patreon, you can be an Elite Streets members today
Mm-hmm.
for just $2.99.
A month.
So what you guys get with being an Elite Street member, you get behind the scenes kind of footage type things. You get early access to the episodes that we're dropping.
Mm-hmm.
So we try not to stick to any type of date or time, but you'll definitely get it dropped before everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get exclusive content.
Yes.
So the
It's
things
spicy.
that the spicy, this but not always spicy. We
The
do got
tea,
some,
yeah, the spicy
yeah,
is the tea. Is
yeah.
the real. It's I mean, we're real here, but like we can really, really open up a bit more over there, I think.
I totally agree. I totally agree. So if you want some more, I know you guys were really into those BDSM episodes and all that. So if you want to hear more about our thoughts on those topics, definitely subscribe to Patreon. And again, thank you so much to our supporters who have
Yeah.
already subscribed to Patreon. We appreciate you so, 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 so much.
Yes. And literally you got like you pay more for that for coffee every day and it's $2.99 a month. So subscribe, support a small business. We truly appreciate it. Join the elite streets. We appreciate it. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
We are definitely putting in work on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so the crazy thing is if you want to, you can be subscribed to one or you can be subscribed to everything,
Mm-hmm.
but you're getting something different from every different platform.
Yes.
So the good thing about our YouTube platform is that we're trying to make it easy and accessible for everybody. So we'll do little shorts. If you don't want to listen to the entire episode, you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead and chop it up by whichever. You don't chop it up, we chop it up, but you can go and pick
Mm-hmm.
which part of the episode you want to listen to, if there's a certain topic that you would rather listen to. So YouTube is great for that. Just want to, if you want to
Mm-hmm.
hear, just like we have the full episode there as well. But if
Yep.
you just want to hear certain aspects of the conversation, YouTube is great for that. And if you want to see our beautiful faces, we actually have pictures
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube as well. So
Yep.
we got a little something for everybody. We're
We
trying to
do.
a little bit have a little bit more variety to the pod.
Yes. So hit those likes up, comment, subscription. subscribe, all that. Like it's super helpful, and we truly appreciate it. A lot of that support is free, and we need you guys. We appreciate you guys, and we're super thankful for all that you do every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know you guys have seen the rebranding. Like I know you've seen it.
I know you see it.
I know you see it. So
Shout out to the new
Miss
logo.
K, yes.
Yeah.
Um, do you want to give a little shout out to our artists that helped us out?
Yes. So with this rebirth came a new logo, and we love it. The experience with the artist that we used was super seamless, super helpful, and yeah, we love it. Let us know how you guys like it, streets. But we do want to shout out Eka G. She's on Instagram, ECKAGEE. She is awesome. She has her own I think show going on as well called Keep It G. I tuned in a few times. Looks super cute, super interactive and fun. So check her out. She seems like a super talented person, and it was amazing working with her. And again, shout out to the new logo.
Absolutely. One thing I loved about her was that she was just very professional,
Yes.
and stayed in communication with us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that was something that was really important for us, is because not to call anybody out, but throughout the years we've been trying to do more,
Yeah.
just with like logo wise, and we really wanted to put more work and effort, and finding somebody to work with us and kind of see our vision out
Mm-hmm.
has honestly been a struggle. And that's something people want to know, as they're building their businesses. So finding the right person to partner with, and really bring your vision to life is not an easy task.
No.
But Eka definitely helped us out. And she was great to work with, like Miss K said.
Yes, like the details of it all, like the package that we got, like the details, like that was super thoughtful, and you could tell like she really listens. And just with a few short conversations, like what we had in our heart and mind, like she brought it to life, and I love that for us, and I love that for her. So
Agree, agree. So hopefully you fucking with it, streets, because we fucking with it.
yes, but I want to give a quick shout out to T. T has been
To me?
doing, yeah.
Oh,
T has been working hard with editing, guys. Like she has been
oh,
the mastermind behind doing a lot of the edits for the podcast as well as YouTube. And she's been working hard with Patreon as well with those edits. So I really want to shout her out again. And, teamwork makes the dream work. Like, she definitely is doing what needs to be done, and it's appreciated. And yeah, love that.
thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, Boo.
Um, Miss K is I work with people a lot. Like that's what I do. I work with people, and it's not always easy having to deal with different personalities and different styles, and different, people have different work ethics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but working with Miss K is just the easiest, simplest process. We're on the same page 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not on the same page, it's easy for us to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate everything you do, and every time you're like, I'll do that," or "You want me to do that? I'll do that." Like, it just makes it makes chapter 30 so much easier to just deal with, because it's not a lot. It's not easy behind the scenes.
It's not, and we're both honest about like, when we're dragging our feet, we're honest about that because it's not always just you're not always in that mood. Like we both do have full time jobs that take a lot out of us day to day. So when we do
Hmm.
want to tune into our business and our passion, we still have to have energy for that.
Yeah.
And so we'll be honest, like, oh, I don't want to do it. But then we have our nights. She'll have her nights where she's putting all nighter. I'll have my nights where I'm putting in work. So we balance pretty well with that, and I love
Yeah.
that. And we're just like, I don't want to do it. Other person is like, I'll do it. Like, so it's just a good balance. And again, communication is definitely key because
Yeah.
it's just important to share that load, share how you feel, bounce ideas off of each other. She'll ask me something, I'll add to it, and vice versa. And it's been a really great system. So
Absolutely. It just works.
it does.
It
I'm
works.
thankful because
But
it could have
yeah,
been
God is all in this though. So
yes.
that's all him.
Yes, Supergirl.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, okay. Let me let me gather myself. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I mean, every day I'm like, I'm thank you, thank you. Like we both say thank you for everything we do for the baby, which is the podcast. But gotta give you your roses on
I
air too.
definitely appreciate that.
You're welcome, boo.
That's so funny because that actually leads me to this epiphany that I had.
Yes, let's talk about it. I'm excited.
Okay. So I think you and I have had this conversation, but I've said this like a few times throughout my life where um I don't really know what my passion is, or I don't really know what my like I always felt like I didn't have a talent, quote unquote. Like
Mhm.
I have things that I'm good at and I know I'm good at it, but like for example, I grew up around just super talented people that it was easy to point it out. You could tell. For example, I grew up around singers, dancers, models, like just fucking beautiful ass people, writers. Just like that's easy to say, oh, that person is a writer. Easy to say that person is a singer. You can easily point
Mhm.
it out. So a lot of things, like I said, I'm good at, but I'm not like a master of anything. And I just woke up one morning, or I think I was in bed late at night, or woke up early morning. I can't really remember, but I realized that my talent is building, like buildings, like I creating,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I really, really enjoy making something out of nothing.
Mm.
Like that, and it doesn't even matter what it is. Like if I
Mhm.
have something in front of me and it's a blackboard,
Mhm.
or there's nothing there, and then by the end of it there's a whole masterpiece.
Mhm.
That is what I'm realizing is something that really excites me and something I'm really, really, really good at. um and so that kind of goes along with what you're saying about editing. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
I thoroughly enjoy editing. Like I thoroughly enjoy. I don't even know if you remember back in our college days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
So I would be up until like 5. We used to make these dumbass videos back in college. They wouldn't be dumb now. If we were on YouTube back then, we probably would have a whole bag.
We will be so viral.
We
I
would, we
always
would
say
have been
that.
viral.
Mhm.
But I used to be up until 5 o'clock in the morning, like working with transitions and cutting,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize it then. But if you're doing something for free until 5 o'clock
Mhm.
in the morning, like that's
Mhm.
something you're passionate about. That's something you enjoy doing.
Yep.
And I would sometimes miss a class that I had to go to, or be late to a
Mhm.
class because I'm up all night editing these videos that we're doing for free.
Right.
And now that I'm doing it for chapter 30, that's something, unless I'm like super tired from work or something like that, that's something I
Mhm.
enjoy doing. And it's not just the editing part, it's the
Mhm.
fact that it was something, not saying that was nothing before, because obviously we're
Mhm.
doing this, but it was this before, and then by the end
Mhm.
of it it's like this.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but just being a part of the creative process and
Mhm.
seeing
Mhm.
something become something greater by the end
Definitely.
of it. And I can see that even in my work life, like when
Mhm.
I'm fixing stores, or working on stores, or I come into a store and it's an empty shell, and by
Mhm.
the time I leave it's this beautiful masterpiece. Like
Mhm.
being a part of all those little details and coming up with ideas, and people are involved in it too. So I love brainstorming. I love bouncing ideas off
Mhm.
of people, and for
Mhm.
it to like just that whole creation process, I finally realized like that's my talent.
That's beautiful. I'm happy you had that epiphany.
Thank you.
That is awesome. But no, that makes perfect sense. Like you getting that raw material and then just seeing that final result. That makes perfect sense.
Yes, and being, because it's not easy to be happy with stuff. Like
Mhm.
there's um there's stuff that we've put out that I'm not 100% happy with,
Mhm.
and I don't even think I'll ever be there with anything,
Right.
because that's
Right.
just how it is as a creative. Like you always
Mhm.
you want to tweak that and fix that.
Girl.
Um But when it's all said and done, it's like it feels like I don't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whew, I did that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's great and it works out. And if people love it, it makes it even better. But if
Mm-hmm.
I love it, that's the best.
That's satisfying on its own.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So I just wanted to share that because that's something that's just been,
That's major.
thank you.
That's major. I'm happy you came there. It takes people a long time to get there, if ever. So just continue feeding that passion, continue feeding that creativity, making space for it and time for it, because that's real.
That's a good point right there, too, because I think we get so caught up in bills and
Mm-hmm.
life and work that for those of us that do have something outside of that, um, we want that to not we want it, but it kind of ends up being the back burner,
Yes.
and we don't really have the time or the energy to feed it and to help it grow. And I told you, like, I'm this go around, Ren, I'm
Mm-hmm.
so serious about putting my effort into chapter 30.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this can grow into something, and it will,
Mm-hmm.
I would rather that than to do what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that I don't like what I'm doing now. I love it. But I really feel like what we're doing here is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, we both
Mhm.
feel that way. And chapter 30 will be 4 years old this year,
Oh
guys.
my gosh.
He's a toddler. So, I mean, we've been, again, this all ties in, like, we've been making her a priority. And,
Yes.
that's super important because I mean, we said this before, we want it to grow into, like, a great business and, make money from it. That would be awesome. But whatever way it goes is going to be the way that it's supposed to go. But we're going to continue to enjoy the experience and enjoy the journey because
Mhm.
you're feeling that way creatively. You had that epiphany. Like, these things happen for a reason. Like, we're in our element. Like, we're helping so many people. We have so many people that reach out to us, via email, via DM, in person, and just like, oh my gosh, I needed that, or you guys helped me realize this, or like, so just the journey alone is super fulfilling.
We had a few people, and we talked about this, but it's really hitting home. We had a few people that were pissed that we stopped
Yeah.
recording, and we're just like, what? Like, we're
Yeah.
pissed off, but in the same tone, are excited that we're back
Yes.
because we're seeing it from us recording. Like, it's just
Mm-hmm.
Ren and I having conversations, hitting record button, popping it out to y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something that we tell each other all the time. Like, we never know who needs to listen to a certain segment or
Mm-hmm.
who needs to learn from this or how somebody's listening or what they're taking from what we're saying. So that in and of itself is motivation to continue going. So
And there's so many people who, like, especially in the past, like, we're just getting back now, but like in the past, I remember someone came to me and she flat out told me, like, y'all are my friends in my head. Like, when I'm home and I'm dealing with my kids and I got this and that going on, like, I play your episodes, like, it keeps me company. Like, and to bring something like that to someone and others and just whatever we bring to people, like, that's amazing. Like, that's amazing.
it's beautiful. So keep it on streets.
Yes.
We got y'all. I'm invested. Miss K is invested, and we're doing some stuff behind the scenes to make sure
Yeah.
we continue to do so. And one of the things I will say to the creatives out there or anybody that's trying to do something like this, what really, really helps is taking advantage of the moment. So
Mm-hmm.
when you do have all that energy and you do have all that motivation, take advantage of that because sometimes as creatives, you might have writer's block or you might have just moments in time where you just don't want to be in that space. And so for us, lucky for us, we take advantage of that. And then sometimes if we don't want to record, we already got 3 or 4 sitting in the vault. And then
Mm-hmm.
we could just drop that. So just take advantage of your spurts of energy and motivation.
Definitely. Definitely. So thanks for listening to just how we feel. Let us know, like, how you feel, like, if you're a creative and like what your process is like, and how your new year's going so far. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube and Patreon, please do so.
Yes.
Okay. So let's get into some topics.
Okay.
So you talked about your epiphany. So how does that form your 2023? Like, do you feel like this year you'll be stepping into more creative bags? Like, how do you feel like with that epiphany starting off your year?
So I'm going to answer that question by 22 and then complete
Mm-hmm.
23.
Mm-hmm.
22, like I said, I had a lot of time to myself and I didn't take
Mm-hmm.
full advantage of that time. Um, I had a lot of time to be creative, and I think I was more focused on other things. Um, like for example, healing and, just taking care of the household and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Work and worried about my people at work and
Mm-hmm.
just everything else. Um, but I could have done better time management wise of tapping into my creative side.
Okay.
So, taking that lesson into 23 to answer your question, I'm not playing about my creative bag. Like,
Yes.
if I have free time, if I'm not with friends or out or whatever,
Right.
I'm definitely making sure that I'm either one learning. So
Mm-hmm.
even if I'm not, let's say for example, if I'm watching a TV show, I'm watching it differently now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not watching it just to be into the show. I'm watching it to see what kind of edits are they using, like
Mm-hmm.
what kind of transitions they're using. I'm taking more from it, especially when I'm watching YouTube. Like when I'm watching YouTube, I'm really listening on the things that they say,
Mm-hmm.
um, digging more, into analytics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So all of my free time is basically, if I'm not being creative, I'm being practical in the way that I'm taking in information,
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. So I'm really
Yeah.
trying hard not to just let my free time go to waste.
Okay. Makes a
How
lot.
about you?
How? Like, what part? What part you want me to answer?
So in 23,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I mean, you're different than me because you just in your creative bag all the time. But
I told y'all I just think I'm a Disney princess. Like, I don't really be feeling out this world. It's just weird. I can't explain it without sounding crazy, but yeah.
no, I get it. I get it. But and is there anything that you plan on doing differently when it comes to tapping into that creativity?
Definitely. Like, yes, definitely. I want to go even deeper into it. Like, I
Hmm.
want to, I just want to be more, just more passionate about everything. Like, just with life in general. Like, I want to try out more restaurants, go to more concerts, go to more museums. Like, I just want to do things like 2022. I worked my ass off. Like, and I that's just my work ethic. Like, I'm always going to be a hard worker, but I want to delve more into, like, more of like my soft life or like my creative life. Like, I just want to tap into a different side of me,
Hmm.
and just to tie the creativeness into it. By doing all those things, for me, that recharges it. And then, like, you know um I'm always reading, but I want to read more, and write more. Like, just doing more of it, and again, making it even more of a priority. Like,
Hmm.
because you know how it is. If you can work all day and literally just crash. So
Hmm.
if you do that every day and you're not making it a priority, you're not even taking an hour of your week for you and what you have going on creatively, or your business. Like, that's just gonna, like, this is gonna,
Hmm.
it'll be 2024 before you know it, and you'll be in that same
Yep.
place. So
Yep. Now
next
you're on
year,
autopilot.
yes, I
Yep.
want to get on autopilot. Like, I've been on autopilot. Like, it's crazy. Like, I can't even tell you how much I'll pour in and bust my ass for, for working. And again, that's just me. I'm a hustler. A hustler. That's just me. But I want to pour more into Corinne. Like, I want to pour more into the podcast. I want to pour more into other things, like, and just see what can blossom this year. So I'm super excited about just pouring more into, like, everything, getting more work life balance, getting more balance, period. And I want to love the people in my life harder. I don't know. I just want to be more intentional about my day to day. You know.
Yes,
So I hope that answers your question.
it definitely does. I think delving in, like just being immersed
Yeah.
in creativity and just doing more outside of just work and home. Like just
Yes.
yes, doing more of that. And I have a confession to make.
Mhm.
So there's a part of me that that loves, like, I don't know how to explain this. I have a fear of being famous. Like I don't want to be famous.
Me either. I never. Okay, okay. We're having some a truth talk here. Yeah. I don't want everybody to know me.
Exactly. It's not really a fear though. It's just like I that's not something that attracts me. Like
Me either.
I'm not attracted to fame. I'm not like you go my Instagram is private. Like
Mhm.
I don't clout is not something that excites me. Um a very which is I know is that's why I say it's a confession because it's like my personality, people are like, what?
Mhm.
And I'm like, I'm like this with people I'm comfortable with. I'm not like this with everybody. So, but anyway, I am not. I think sometimes it can be self sabotaging in certain ways
Mm.
because you want to be great at something,
Mhm.
but you also don't want to be great because you know what being great comes along with. So I think sometimes,
Mhm.
and I mean, let me not say you. I'm saying me personally.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think sometimes I may dim my own light,
Mm.
and this is gonna sound mad cocky.
I mean,
But
I
you
don't.
know when you could be like great at something,
Girl.
and sometimes I might dim my own light because I'm like, damn, like I don't want a million people looking at this,
Ooh.
or I don't want a million people to see me.
Ooh.
And so I actually had this conversation with a few people, and I'm like, for me, I think it's going to be important separating myself, who I am at the core, to the from the brand.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's the only way it's going to be a goal for me to really like be behind it is if I separate Queen T from Tanisha.
That's crazy. I was just watching a video last night, Queen Aja and her boyfriend Clarence, and she was saying the same thing about. That's crazy. She said the same exact thing, but she said her name, like Queen Aja from Queen, like her as like a mom and her family
Mm-hmm.
and then her business. But it's like, how do you do that? Like, how how do you do that? Like, yeah, how do you do that?
I think like what I said before, a little bit I touched on is like giving certain elements,
Mm-hmm.
um, and keeping some stuff for yourself.
Yeah, of course.
I honestly, and I don't think that's inauthentic. I think it's just different layers and different sides of yourself. So,
Definitely.
and I give the streets a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I give the streets a lot, but I think just making sure that I keep some stuff to myself. And I think you and I in particular do a good job of keeping things between
I
us.
think we do. I
Yeah.
think we do.
And like knowing what to keep between us and what to give to the streets.
And we don't
I
even say it. Like we literally don't even say like, don't
no,
forget
we don't
to, you
have to.
know.
We don't have to.
Yep.
But I think that's important is I think that's where some people may go wrong as well is that they want to give the world all of them,
Can't.
and then you can't give the world, let alone one person.
Mm-mm.
Like so imagine giving yourself to the entire world. And for me that's a fear that doesn't make sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
paranoia really because I'm not even
Mm.
there. I haven't even touched that. So for me to already be fearing something that I'm not, I haven't even touched is crazy, and maybe in turn block. So I'm not saying what I'm thinking or my fears are correct at all. Like I know it's
Mm-hmm.
absurd. I know that it's paranoia. I'm very aware of that, and I know that I could be blocking myself from blessings by thinking about what
Mm-hmm.
may or may not happen.
Right.
So definitely not saying that's a good thing at all. I'm saying
Right. It's
it's a
your truth.
problem. Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like, although it hasn't happened yet, every day you're working towards it. Every day you're getting closer. So I could see why that fear is present in us both. Like I have it too, where I'm like, yo, like at any given point, anything can go viral or blow up or, you know, get into the right hands or wrong hands. And for me, I'm just like, is your fear more so like social media, like everyone like chiming in on you, or are your fears more so just like where do you think your fears are coming from? Like
I
for
think
real,
there's
for
a mix. There's a few different things.
real.
One, I like my privacy.
Mm.
And I just don't want that to be tampered with. Um, Two, the world that we live in is brutal.
Yes.
And I I've had to just like living in life, I've had to just create this tough skin. Um, but I don't want to make it tougher. Like I don't want to have to put more energy and work into not having to feel that or not having to, you know, look at that or not see that. I don't want to.
Yeah, yo, okay. That's crazy. We've been feeling the same way, but we haven't said it to each other. Like,
Mm,
there
I
are
don't
a
want to
lot.
constrict myself any more than I have to.
Right.
Hmm.
There are a lot of like, you know, sites and just people that speak so negatively. Let's even just go like with podcasting. Like there are people that like go off on podcasts. Like she always doing this to her. Like go off on the host and what they say. Like, you know, it's just a negative world. Like people like to talk negative, especially when you reach a certain point in your career. So I think about that too sometimes. Like, yo, like what if we get to a point and not that people are gonna put us against each other because we're not just podcast hosts, we're best friends. So it wouldn't really people couldn't just step in and put us against each
Yep.
other, but people can put their 2 cents in and we've never experienced that. Like people could be like, damn, why Miss K cutting off, you know, Queen T, or you know, like people can
Hmm.
say stuff and that will have an effect on whatever, but that comes with it. So I'm
Hmm.
like, how am I gonna deal with that? Because I don't have tough skin. I need tougher skin. But I
Hmm.
understand what you mean. Like you don't want to toughen your skin like to the point of like you don't need to be super, super, super tough. You deserve to be soft and vulnerable as well too
Hmm.
in the areas that you want to be that way.
Hmm. And that ends up this is the whole problem too, is because that ends up blocking the creativity.
It
Like if
does.
you're so worried about being, you have to be soft and vulnerable to be creative. So
Right.
if you're so worried about what this person's saying is what that person's saying, what this blog is saying, and blah blah
Yeah,
blah, like it's really hard to just open up, be yourself, and be creative.
it
And
is.
that's just so I'm okay. And also me as a person, I don't, even when it comes to like riches, I'm not that crazy. So like I, my personal goal, I don't care about being a millionaire. Like
Mhm.
as long as I'm comfortable, as long as I don't have to worry, like live check to check,
Mhm.
cool with that. That's just me as a person. Like I'm
Mhm.
okay being average, if that's what you want to call it. Like I don't have to be some big superstar. I don't have to live in a mansion. Those are not my goals in life.
Mhm.
So if like I just I just don't want to go too far, and I don't want anything to change who I am as a person.
Yes.
So, and again, these are all just like
For
things that may not
us.
happen, like but it's real, it's honest thoughts, you know, like these
Right.
are the stuff that goes across your mind. Um because you see how fame and money changes people, but they
Yeah.
say it's not changing them. They say it's really who they are. It's just it
Mhm.
just builds on who they are.
I wouldn't want it to change our dynamic either or our show, like
Yeah.
or our friendship. Like and I think too we receive a lot of positive feedback and we receive constructive feedback too, which is cool, but I would say we haven't received any hate yet.
Hmm.
So we sensitive about this baby.
Yeah.
So
And that's why I said my thoughts are kind of like unfounded. Like my thoughts are super unfounded because it's like it's crazy to worry about something that hasn't happened yet,
that's true.
or to sit here and think about what may happen. That's it's backwards. Like that's
Mhm.
I'm putting energy in the wrong place.
Mhm.
Like that, those thoughts, that energy should just be going into making the podcast better.
Right.
So just being honest about the thoughts though, because they're
Yeah.
there. Because what happens is people are like, oh no, I'm funny all the time, or I'm happy all the time, or I'm always thinking positive. Like,
Right.
no, like that's not
And that's what this podcast is about. Like we're being real. Like it's not always just even people now like that are famous, like famous stars, like they have their moments too where they're reading all this stuff and it affects them. Like people aren't just taking that in and just not feeling a kind of way. Like that negativity is real.
Exactly. And I'm that way in okay, we're gonna save that for a we are here that we have. But
Okay,
so I
okay.
said what I want to say about that.
Ooh, okay. So streets, yeah, that kind of took me. Okay, so we had a little moment because I
We had a
honestly didn't.
discovery moment.
Yeah, I didn't know you felt that way, but thank you
Mm-hmm.
for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, we'll just continue to pray over this podcast, take it day by day, continue to put positive energy, and we'll let it go to its full potential. And God will prepare us for what's to come.
Yes.
Oh, we just had this topic like recently, like today in the studio with our guest and talking about right and left, like just how like you can manifest and want something, but
Yes.
you gotta be prepared for I guess
Yep. It could
both
go either
sides.
way. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Look how everything just tying in.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Sorry, streets, if that confused y'all, but I
Yeah.
just had like a little flashback. I apologize.
It'll click next week.
So I wanted to go over this post I found called 15 Things to Let Go of in 2023.
Ooh.
I feel like I
Look at
related
the
to a lot
first
of it.
one.
Ooh. And
I'm
it
dead.
everything just ties in. T,
I'm
read the first one.
I'm okay. I'm done. Guys,
Ooh.
I didn't even read this list. Miss K sent it to me. I just wanted to be like on the spot when we recorded, so I didn't read the list. But I'll just look at the okay. So it's 15 things to let go in 2023. The first one on the list is staying stuck on autopilot.
And we just talked about that for like
We
30
literally
minutes.
just said that. Jesus Christ.
So we want to let that go. Staying stuck on autopilot.
Yeah.
That's
What
crazy.
what is your definition of autopilot?
When you just wake up and you just do things with no thought, like, and
Mm-hmm.
before you know it your whole day has gone, but like you haven't really you're not actively participating in your life, like you're
Mm-hmm.
just and that's crazy because before you know it another birthday has come, another new year has come, and you're just you're just breezing on by and
Going with emotions.
yeah, going with
Mm-hmm.
the flow too much.
Yeah. But I think we already talked a little bit about that.
We
So
did. We
I
did.
definitely am trying to let that go in 2023.
Yes. The next one is values you didn't choose.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
What does that mean?
What does that mean for me? Or what does that mean?
Yeah. What's it mean for you?
Like if you're stuck on like perhaps what maybe your parents or
Mm-hmm.
society or
Mm-hmm.
your family, like they have these values, but you didn't choose them and you don't agree with them. Like you have to learn how to as you grow, you have to learn what resonates with you, what you agree with, and what's not you. You have to become your own person. That takes time, but it's something we all go through, and it's super important in you becoming your own person, like deciding what works for you, whether that's breaking trauma, breaking certain chains, certain curses, like whatever, like you just becoming your best you and picking values that fit you in your lifestyle. And whether you pick some that people do choose and they resonate with you, and then whether you get rid of some, like whatever works for you.
I agree with that 100%. I don't have anything to add to that.
Okay, let's get to the next one.
Okay. The next one is
I know this list, like who would have thought?
I I want to cry.
I know it's crazy how things work too.
It comes to chapter 30, and I think just life in general
Mm-hmm.
is something that I know for a fact is, if you ask me what my red flag was or what my toxic trait was, it would be this self-sabotaging. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you ask me, that would be my answer. So I think me speaking that out
Mm-hmm.
and me being like more aware of it and being more mindful of it is something that's going to help me let
Definitely.
go of that in 23 because I don't want anything to hold me back anymore. So,
You don't
whew,
deserve that.
thank you.
And at least you're aware of it, because a lot of people self sabotage and they're not even aware of it.
Mm,
So I think being aware of things is a huge step.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You have any thoughts on that one?
I agree. There's so many times I got in my own way in 2022 and just in
Yes,
life period. And I'm like, damn. And again, I'm getting in the way of greatness. Like if I was to really be me at my full potential,
yes,
girl,
yes.
like that's my goals. I think I seen something on social media. It was like me at my full potential. That's my goals, and that's my goals. That's what I aspire to be. Like the best version of me. I don't want to be anybody else. Like I want to be me, my healthiest, my happiest. Like just in every level. And life is not perfect. And like you said, it's not always positive thinking and just no. We're gonna go through things. Life is life, and life be life. In. But I want to still be me at my best, at my worst. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be the best me I can be in whatever
Mhm,
phase I'm going through.
mhm. And that's why I said earlier is I don't want to sound cocky because I know that me at my full potential
Girl,
is nothing to fucking play with. But I
T.
also feel like everybody can feel that way.
They should. As it
Yes, like it's
should.
not. That's what I'm saying. It's not just me. Like
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I would shit on people or I would be better than anybody. Like no, I
Right.
just know that would be a problem.
All of us
And
at our full potential is amazing.
like
Mm-hmm.
imagine everybody in the world at their full potential, but
Right.
there's things put in place for us not to be.
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna go any further on that one.
No, exactly. So no, this is for y'all two streets. I want you to close your eyes and just envision you at your full potential. Like what's getting in your way? Like
Mm,
some things may not be in your control right now or in your control ever. Like, again, life is life and we're real, but if there are some things that you're purposely self sabotaging, or things that habits, things that you're doing, I want you to make a commitment to you and just try to work on one of those things, two of those things, and just make little small efforts towards that, because you have so much potential.
mm-hmm.
The next one is lacking a support system.
Mm.
What do you think about that? Do you think a support system is just something that is like not naturally in place, but like, do you think everybody has a support system? Do you think you can make a support system? Is that something that you have control over, if that makes sense?
Nowadays, absolutely. There's the internet. There's a
Mm-hmm.
group for everything. There's an
Mm-hmm.
app for everything.
Okay.
There's a phone number for everything.
Oh, okay.
I do feel like it's easier now than it was before. So
Okay.
let's say, for example, support system doesn't just have to be family.
Okay.
Um, and I think that's what a lot of people think of when they think about
Mm-hmm.
support system. They think about mom, dad, brothers, sisters. Um, for example, I put myself in a place like I don't have any family within 3 hours of me right now.
Mm-hmm.
But what I say I don't have a support system, absolutely I do. I have coworkers that are next to me. If I need somebody
Mm-hmm.
physically, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that I can lean on. Um, Outside of that, if I let me not put myself in this position, but for the people who don't have family,
Mm-hmm.
the internet goes a long way, and there's support groups all over the internet for like literally whatever it is that you need support with.
Oh.
And it's free, all these
Mm-hmm.
different groups, and like I said, phone numbers, there's crisis numbers, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
definitely think it's easier now to kind of, even if for there are people who have social anxiety, like you can call a
Yeah.
number for that.
Mm-hmm.
um
Okay.
yeah, so I definitely think it's easier now than it was before for those who didn't have like family members or something like that.
You answered that in a good way. I wasn't even looking at that in that way. So
Hmm.
I appreciate that feedback,
Hmm.
because you answered that in a great way.
Thank you.
Um, Next one.
In 2023, you need to let go of the fear of being disliked.
Mm. Mm. It seemed like we made this list because like we're doing a lot of laughing and stuff, guys. But it's because like this stuff. This is stuff that we've really been talking about last year, and we've been dealing with in our own way. And wasn't recording, but like this stuff was like really happening. I know you guys can relate.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna post this list on our social media. Um, we'll try to stick it in where we can, so you guys can kind of, you know, keep
Mm-hmm.
yourself in check with this because I like this list.
I think that one's easy for me. I don't really care about being disliked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I more so care about being disrespected.
Ooh.
Yeah. So whether you like me or not, I'm like, that's fine. Especially if it's somebody
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't know me. Like if you don't know me, you don't like me, that's you. That's on
Khalees
you.
said it best. She said, "You don't have to like me, but you will respect me."
Period.
So,
Period. And I guess my respect. So
yes.
so that's one thing I think I'm pretty good for in 23. What about you?
Mm-hmm. I don't really care about being disliked. Because everybody's not gonna like you, and that's okay. I think
Mm-hmm.
my main thing, I don't like to be misunderstood.
Mm.
Um, and definitely, I need to be respected as well. Like,
Yep.
for sure, that's basic. Like, especially in a work environment or any environment, like the bare thing you can do is respect me.
Yep.
I don't have to like you. You don't have to like me, but respect is definitely needed. So I agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even honestly, I don't even care. No shade streets, but I don't care if somebody listens to this podcast and they're like, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't mind that because everything is not for everybody. Like, and I
Yep.
know I'm pretty confident on that as far as like everything and everybody ain't for everybody. Like, so I'm cool with that because I listen to
Mm-hmm.
certain things and it's not for me, but I won't disrespect it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I don't really mind that. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody types that on our YouTube channel, no, I'm not giving you ideas, but if somebody put like, I don't like this podcast, it might be like, oh shoot, because like we don't really get that, but I'm okay with that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think um it's definitely not a fear of being disliked, but I do feel some type of way if I find out somebody dislikes me and I like let's say I find out from somebody else
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know that. That
Mm.
that will like make me feel some type of way because I'm like, where's this coming from? Like, why you didn't say
Mm-hmm.
nothing? That's it just
Yeah.
spawns more thoughts. But it's not a fear,
Yeah.
it's just like a lack
Yeah.
of understanding and not like understand because we were just talking yesterday. So like what?
Right. Right.
Yeah, so that's where I start to or when people start to change up or act differently,
Oh.
that's when it's like, okay, I don't
Oh.
understand. Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially if there's not a conversation beforehand, which, you know, like there's seasons for everything. Everybody's not meant to go into every season. So
Oh.
everybody doesn't have to give an explanation. But that doesn't mean that there's a lack of emotion. That doesn't mean that there's not a thought process like, okay, well, why is that going on? Or why that's, so just being honest with it. Like, if somebody dislikes me and I don't understand why, or I don't like, or we had some type of relationship beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
that does make me feel some type of way.
Yeah.
But it's not a fear though. I
That
think
part.
a fear is a big word. I just
That
deal
is a
with,
big word. That is a
yeah,
big
I
word.
deal with things as they come along, but it's not like
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it beforehand. Like, oh
Like
my
she
God,
doesn't like me. Like that's
exactly,
okay.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah,
And again, like with the whole thing, like that's why I brought up like being understood because a lot of the stuff is just like miscommunication.
yes,
So a lot of things is just like you said, if it's like someone, oh, she don't like you, a lot of that can be resolved in a conversation or just clarifying things. And it doesn't mean you have to be best friends with that person, but a lot of things is just about communicating and being clear or clearing up certain things because so often people just kind of run with things and then
yeah,
things just kind of get messy. And I think that's where a lot of that
yep,
um
yep. And a
happens.
lot of people go to other people to solve things for them, and the people that they're going to are the people that they're agreeing with.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
the people that won't give them honest feedback or opinions or something like that. So then now it's making it even worse because they're not going to the source.
That part.
But okay, we can okay.
Ooh, the next one is endless comparison to others.
Ooh, wow.
And that's a good one because again, we always talk about social media. I feel like we all, if you're on social media, I feel like you may not do it to the highest degree or lowest degree, but I feel like we all kind of have that like comparison uh thing going on at times. So we definitely leaving that in 2022. Like, yeah.
That's something that's I definitely don't want to brush over this one because I think this one is a huge one. Like
Mm-hmm.
you said, with social media,
Yeah.
and everybody making it seem like their life is just the best life ever all the time,
Mm-hmm.
100% of the time. And I fell victim to that a few years ago, like
Mm-hmm.
having to like take breaks off of social media
Mm-hmm.
and like feeling like, oh, I don't have that, or
Yep.
that's not happening in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It can definitely do something to you mentally.
Yes.
Um, and so just having focusing on yourself and focusing and knowing that what's meant for you is for you. And you never know what's going on behind the scenes in somebody's life, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Yeah.
know how much work and effort they may have put in to get
Mm-hmm.
that. So like for example, somebody may look at Jeff Bezos and be like, well, I deserve billions of dollars. And
Mm-hmm.
well, you don't know, Jeff Bezos might only sleep 2 hours a day. Are you doing that?
Right. Right.
You don't know what somebody's putting in to get their blessings or what they deserve or whatever. So um the more that you just focus on yourself and focus on what you need to do as a person, the
Mm-hmm.
less the easier it is to get rid of those comparisons.
That part.
Hmm.
And taking breaks is definitely something I encourage. If you find like yourself getting angry at certain things or certain content is triggering you, like, it's okay to take a little break, whatever that means to you, deleting the app or just, limiting your time, like whatever it is that you need to do. Because I don't think it's healthy the amount of like content we see from each other is just really weird to me. But it's the it's the world that we live in. So
Hmm.
we're seeing people sign off buying houses, getting maybe buying their second home. You seeing people getting married. You seeing all this stuff, and you're like, damn, like what about me? But like it's a lot, and it's just not healthy. So you do have to have a healthy relationship with your own self worth and with social media, and just a good balance.
Hmm.
Just a
Hmm.
good balance. The next one is all or nothing thinking. Um, that's super important.
Mm.
It's not good to kind of have that all or nothing thinking, like to be so black and white. Do you have
What's
any?
an example of that?
I was I was just about to say, do you have anything you want to say about that? Hold on, let me look it up because okay. So all or okay. Let's see. So with all or nothing thinking, you'll use things like always, never, should, shouldn't. You often look at the downsides, even with potential opportunities, and you won't try something unless you're confident that you can do
Oh,
it
that's
perfectly.
definitely not me. I'm good on
Yeah.
that.
So that's not something that we really do. I don't deal with that either. So that's why it was kind of hard for me.
Yeah, I can't relate.
Yeah, but if you are dealing with that, let's see. Okay, so your pattern of thoughts often, like you're just kind of basing things that like it's a fact, like you're, um, and it may make you see your world more negatively than it is. Okay, so that's just me
Mhm.
doing a quick Google search, but if that is your way of thinking, not healthy, let's leave that in 2022 because, I mean, it's not true. Life is what you make it, and everything is not black and white. And I'm trying to find something to say. Hold on, y'all.
I think it's easy for people to say, "Oh, be more open-minded," or "You shouldn't think that way." And I think telling some like for us to be like, oh, don't do that, and we are that way is not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an
Yeah,
open-minded person.
right,
So for me to
right.
tell somebody who thinks it's hard for me to understand somebody who thinks black and white because I don't think that
Yeah,
way.
that's why like I don't want to just gloss over or make it seem like it's so simple just because we don't relate. Like that's not cool. Like
Hmm.
this is an issue, and I'm sorry, y'all. Like I didn't even read that part on the list, so I'm just trying to think of something. Hold
But what I'm saying is that I think what would help
on.
is getting yourself out of comfort zones because that's
Mm-hmm.
usually what helps with me when I do feel like I'm stuck or I feel like I'm if my mind starts going to be black and white,
Mhm.
I start pushing myself. I'm like, oh no, no, no. Like I don't like feeling
Mhm.
comfortable. I don't like feeling complacent. So if I ever
Mhm.
start feeling that way, then I start pushing myself out of comfort zones. So maybe that'll help with that mindset is
Mhm.
doing things that are not comfortable for you, like going out of your way, going out of your comfort zone to kind of like broaden, like try different fruit foods, try different
Mhm.
restaurants, like just do something that'll help you on that black and white type of mindset. And I think that'll kind of talk to different types of people. That
Mhm.
really, really helps me talk to people from different countries that speak different languages
Mhm.
as their first language, obviously, because if they speak a different language, you won't be able to talk to each other. But yeah, just that would be my kind of 2 cents. Like I said, I don't
Mhm.
think that way, so it's kind of hard for me. But when I do start thinking that way, that's what helps me.
Definitely. If you do think that way, send us an email. Let us know, like, just tips or tricks that work for you, like anything like that. We're rooting for you.
Hmm.
The next one is repeated if onlys. I think that's a good one when you stay stuck on like, dang, if only I did this, if only I didn't do that. Like I think that's something we gotta let go of and like
Hmm.
um it can get easy to like stay in that cycle of dang in 1995, if only I did that. Like in short, it is what it is and
Oh,
like
I wasn't even thinking about it like that. Oh, well, yeah.
oh you gotta let me know how you're thinking of it. I was thinking of it like when people were just like kind of just stuck in that cycle of like what didn't happen or what did. How are
That,
you thinking of it?
yeah, that's, well, to speak on that real quick, that is
Mm-hmm.
you like you can't change the past. You know what I mean? It
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. All you can do is learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I was thinking about it is like,
The future.
if I had this, I could do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, for the longest I was talking about the laptop, but I was like, dang, I gotta give me a laptop because if I had the
Mm-hmm.
laptop, I could do this.
Right.
But that thinking to me is like it works only if you really are gonna put action behind it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just always gonna say if, then you just speaking to speak.
Yeah.
So okay, that's interesting.
It's good to look at it in both ways though, because I feel like it widens that. That's
Yeah, for
pretty cool.
sure. Ifs, yeah, let's let go of all the ifs in
Yeah.
2022. We just gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I got this. It's all about our mindset. Like we all have ways that we get in our own way, whatever it is, and we're just getting out of our own way.
Mm-hmm.
Want to do the next one, Boo?
So we want to let go of supposed magic solutions.
Mm.
So I'm assuming that's meaning there's just no quick way to solve what you want to solve.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the most part. Um Especially in this instant gratification world we live in, and there's an
Mm-hmm.
easy way to do that and an easy way to do that. There's not always a magic solution. Sometimes you just got to dig in, do the work and get it done.
Facts.
What you thinking?
I agree with that. I definitely agree. Um, the next one is metrics of success that doesn't resonate.
Mm.
That's true. Like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of goes with the whole values you didn't choose. Like you got to really dig into what does success mean to you. I
Mm-hmm.
was talking to someone
Ooh.
a few weeks ago and they were like they realized that buying a house is not something that they want to do, but
Yes.
they were so stuck in it because that's something that we all most of us all aspire to because it's just what we were raised on, like, oh, you get a house and then you do this and then you do that. But she's like she don't want to buy a house and like
Mm-hmm.
that's just not. And I really admire her for saying that and I appreciated her for saying that because that's cool. Like you don't have, or if you feel like you don't want to get married, or you don't want to have children, or maybe you don't want to travel, like whatever it is. Like I think it's good to get in tune with yourself
Mm-hmm.
and think about what success means to you, what moves you, what you're passionate about, and go for it. It's your life, It's your life.
Mm-hmm. I was actually listening to, so I watched this YouTuber, and he is like, his work ethic is out of this world. Um, and he's young. I think he's like maybe 27, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Already obviously a millionaire because all these young kids is on YouTube
Fact.
millionaires. Like he owns real estate. Just, and he's not where he wants to be. Like he just wants to do all these things, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
For him.
Mm-hmm.
He had a realization one day because he lives in a house of content creators.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, he feels like if he doesn't fill up his day with something every single hour, like if he's not doing something every single minute, he feels like it's a waste of his time.
Mm-hmm.
So he said he gave up one of his content platforms that he had. So he had an extra free 2 hours in his day. So he felt unproductive because for 2 hours he wasn't doing anything. So
Mm-hmm.
for him, his for him, he loves to wake up and do something all the time until the time is time for him to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his roommates, he noticed that one day, like he started noticing that he wasn't doing that much throughout the day. In his mind, he saw that as lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Then he realized, he said, when this dude is sitting around the house doing nothing, that's when he comes up with his best idea.
Mm-hmm.
So it made him kind of rethink how he saw his own life because he's thinking,
Right.
oh, if I'm not doing nothing, I'm like lazy and I could be using my time to do something. But for him to have that realization, to realize, oh no, like I need time to myself in order to kind
Mm-hmm.
of one rejuvenate my mind and like
Mm-hmm.
be able to come see me. I kind of do that a little bit too much, like, but um why did I say all that? Metric of success.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was his metric of success. His metric
Yeah.
was to fill every single second of every single day with something.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like me, for example. If I compare myself to that, my my idea of success is not to be a multimillionaire with multiple
Mm-hmm.
properties and businesses. Like that's not success to me. Um, and so I'm not going to be able to resonate with what his thought
Right.
process. And because that's not my success, he can't think of me as lazy and I can't think of
Right.
him as an overworker. Like
The
it's just different
measurements just
metrics.
don't
It
match.
doesn't
Yeah.
match. Yeah.
And it's important to know that. And
And line yourself with people that do resonate with what your success is.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And realize even then the measurements may not match because
Yep.
you have to be very specific to what works for you. For you, you may need to have a night where, at 5 o'clock you need to be sitting having your hot tea, meditating. Like, like certain there's gonna be certain things that you need to do in your day that help towards your success. Maybe going to the gym. Like there's just little things that we're all gonna do that's gonna help us get to where we want to get to and
Mm-hmm.
have that success that others may not need to do, don't want to do, don't, whatever. So that is that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Hmm. Um, to be honest, like I've been struggling with that. It's like a ongoing struggle. I'm super hard on myself, like super, super, super hard on myself. Past, I can't even say past few weeks. Just I've been super hard on myself, just in a lot of areas in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've been looking at others' metrics of success
Mm.
and just getting caught up in that. So I decided to like take a step back and think about like again, what are my values? What do I want? How do I need to get there? What am I doing that's working? What am I doing that's not working? And like, those are kind of some things I'm working on for the new year and just for life in general. But I have to admit, like I definitely have been like, I don't have this. I'm not doing that, So
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to get caught up in that.
And people will shit on people whose metrics don't align with theirs.
Yeah.
Like, for example, this dude I was just talking about, he was saying he saw his home dude wasn't doing nothing for an hour, and he was like, "This dude is lazy." Like, he saw it
Right.
as a bad thing. But like you said, just like focusing on what you want. Like,
Mm-hmm.
take a second to actually think about that. Is this what you really want, or is this what you seen that's working for somebody else,
Right.
and you think that's what you want?
Right.
That's important. Like, know what you want. Take that time out to really think about that
Mm-hmm.
and what you need to get there and do it.
And even when you like have kids, like you have to realize that your metrics of success for your kids is
Oh
not
my
gonna line up. Like they're
God.
gonna have their own. So you have to be really respectful of that. Like your grandparent may look at you and y'all's don't match up. Your mama, like like people your friend. Like it's just I think it's something that is very personable or personal.
I've literally been thinking
Like
about that for the past few weeks, but I was trying not to bring it up because it's a whole episode.
ooh.
about just people trying to live vicariously through their kids. We're
Oh,
not going to go there
we
yet.
said we were going to talk about that. We definitely got to
Did
highlight
we?
that. Yes, like years ago on our list. I'm sure there's
All right.
something. So yeah, please note that, please.
Yeah, coming soon, sure.
Yeah, time for us to get deep again. might be on the Patreon. I don't know.
So the next one we got is playing it safe 100% of the time.
Ooh, that kind of goes to the all or nothing thinking, kind of, right? Like,
Yeah, because I was about to say I don't have nothing to say on that one.
I think it kind of goes there, like, where that's kind of like being safe, being like, playing it safe, like not making a move, like just being super comfortable. Like, you may want more, but you just don't want to rock the boat. So,
Hmm.
we're leaving that. That's we gotta take risks, whatever that means to you, because you never know what's on the other side of that comfort zone.
Hmm.
Next one is unhelpful what ifs. We kind of talked about that when we talked about the if onlys. So yeah, like, what if this happens? What if that happened? Like, yeah, like, it's hard to get out of that negative thinking way of thinking, but we talked about this, I feel like, in another
Well,
episode.
that was exactly what we were talking about when we were saying, well, if we get famous, what if this happens? What if that
Uh-huh.
happens? Like that's that
Yeah.
same type of
It's
mindset. Like it's
unhelpful.
not
Like,
helpful. It's not.
no. What if everything works out beautifully? Like,
Exactly.
like I always have to remind myself of that. Like, what if it works out beautifully? Like,
Yep.
yeah. And if it doesn't, you can handle tough things. You're strong. Like, it's
Hmm.
just a mindset. It's just really cleaning up that space and making it work for you. So we letting that go.
Yep. Let it go. Leave it.
Ooh, the next one.
Okay, that's another
You were just
example of what I
talking
was just
about.
talking about.
Yeah. With the
So the next
YouTuber.
one is we're gonna let go of toxic hustle culture mindsets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was talking about with this dude. Like he felt like every single minute of his day needed to be something. Like he needed to be productive. He needed
Mm-hmm.
to be doing something. Um, and not for nothing. That's just some people's nature. Like Miss K was saying, she's just a hustler. Like that's in her nature. Um, but that mindset behind it of, oh, you gotta, you gotta break your back and you gotta do all this.
Yeah.
You gotta, like, at the end of the day, my worry for this dude is, so some of the things that he says is like he doesn't have time for women, and
Uh,
women are a distraction. um
mm,
and some people, not for nothing, some people are okay with like living their life by themselves for the rest of their life. Like
mm-hmm.
that's okay. Realizes that like he wants some type of like connection with somebody, he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be 70, 80 years old, like putting all this
Mm-hmm.
time and effort in. And don't get me wrong, we need people like him in this world. We need people who
Mm-hmm.
sacrifice their lives for the greater good. And that's like when you have people like Elon Musk or whatever. Yeah, they have family lives, but do they really?
Mm-hmm.
But we
Right.
need people like that to push economics and to push growth in the world. Like we
Mm-hmm.
need people that sacrifice their minds and sacrifice their bodies. Um, just to, like I said, to push evolution and to push growth in economics. Like we need people like that in the world. But it also makes me sad for them because they're missing out so much on connection and like
Mm-hmm.
um just having those interactions with people.
Balance is key. Balance is
Yeah.
key. Like, I'm gonna say that about everything. Balance is key, and you have to always make time for even just rest. Like, it's super important. And it's okay to rest. It's okay to be
Mm-hmm.
healthy. Like, it's okay to get that sleep that you need, and get up and take over the world after.
Yeah.
The next one is negative self talk. We're
Mm-hmm.
definitely letting go of that. We are affirming ourselves. We are bigging up ourselves. We are shining bright. We're letting that go.
Yes. Talk nice to my friends.
Yes. One thing that I see that I love is when it says talk to yourself like you would talk to a baby or a friend, like, or a loved one. Like, talk to you like how you would talk to people you care about. And like, when you really think about it, like, so often we can be, and I was just having this conversation with two friends the other week. I'm like, I can be like so positive and uplifting to everyone in my life, but like sometimes my self-talk isn't that way. And my friend was so surprised. She was like, "You like you're so positive." I'm like, "Yeah, to others." And sometimes I
Mm.
have to check myself because I can uplift and wish the best and hope the best and affirm the best for others, but like I don't often treat myself with that same love. So I'm working on that too, working on that self-talk. It's important.
Yes, absolutely. I think the last one is a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of boundaries with others and with yourself.
Ooh, I like that they added with yourself.
Yes, that's major.
Mm-hmm.
I actually go into friendships like if I ever build new friendships, I go into it now with like stating boundaries.
Mm.
Um, and I'll be like, because what happens is, I think one of our weird heroes is about friendships, but
Yeah.
and I'm trying to hold back from saying too much, but I feel like you and I have good boundaries when it comes to like just emotionally.
Yeah.
And like, you can vent to me, I can vent to you. And sometimes I actually feel bad about venting and I'm like, like,
With me,
I feel bad just in general. Yeah, yeah, because you
I
know
do
me.
too. But
I don't
no,
like to
don't
like
feel.
unload.
Don't feel that way with me though. But
I know.
I know how you feel because I feel that way too.
Yes.
So see, I'll accept it from you, but I'm not accepting it from
Exactly.
me.
Exactly. But
So
with us it's balanced.
yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know that you can come to me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like in a lot of other friendships is very one-sided and it's very
Ooh.
like
Ooh.
it's very like let me just unload, and then when it comes time for me is okay, we're gonna switch up the conversation real quick,
Girl, we.
or I'm not answering my phone, or I don't know what's going on, or blah 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 blah. So I'm very nowadays I'm very I'm very one, if
My
I
people.
notice that it's not reciprocated, I'm falling back. Two, I say that in the beginning. I'm like, listen, if you're the type of person that likes to unload but don't want to hear, like that's a boundary for me. Don't call me every 2 seconds, tell me about what's going on in your relationship. Don't call me, speaking shit about this person, talking shit about that person. Like those are not the type of friendships or phone calls that I'm into. Like I need to my boundaries with my friends are if I'm not learning or growing from our conversations, that's my boundary. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, I limit those conversations. Um, so sorry, like if you don't hear from me often, it's because you're not talking about
Ooh. Ooh. I mean,
it is what it
no.
is.
I respect that you bring that up with new friendships.
Yeah, I've had to because I've it's just been so many times, Miss K, where
T.
it's the same thing over and over again. And it's like, it's me. It's because I'm accepting this shit and I'm trying to be a good friend by listening, doing and doing, doing. Um, and it's not that people don't always have bad intentions. They're not trying to do it, but like
Ooh.
when you're a person that's easy to talk to, you're understanding, it's easy for people to get caught up in that. And so I try to tell people in the beginning, like, listen, like I can't be your emotional garbage bag. Like
Ooh.
you be mindful of when you're saying stuff, how you're saying stuff. Like, yeah, I gotta say that in the beginning because I've just dealt with it too much.
Yo, so okay, we're gonna wrap this list up because we actually have two we are here's from the streets that we've been touching on with this whole list and this whole convo. So I want us to get right into that because
Yep.
girl. So this list is awesome. Again, we're gonna post it. Let us know some things that you want to get rid of on this list, some things that resonated. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Hit us up on Spotify. We have a Q&A section there. Hit us up in the YouTube comments. Hit us up on all our social media. Y'all already know on Patreon. We yeah, look,
You
we can
Patreon,
really
we already know y'all commenting.
we can really go in there. And speaking of Patreon, our Patreon is the Chapter 30 podcast. That is the Chapter 30 podcast. Our YouTube is the Chapter 30 podcast. Let's go, let's grow, and let's do this.